Semifinal number one, India versus New Zealand, and all I have to say is just India is invincible. They're invincible. No words. They're defying what people, talked about law of averages. They're defying law of averages. They're gonna win. I think. No, actually, I've been saying this for the last few matches. India is going to win this undefeated. And I'm so happy to see a team this fired up after this long, right? So they march into the finals with just little disturbance caused by the New Zealand team, and it didn't deter them for too long. They go into the finals with like breaking records, man. Like they broke run totals, centuries, wicket hauls. It's an unstoppable team. Like there were two centuries again today. One was overshadowed. I mean, Kohli didn't get enough, credit that he deserves. I mean, obviously everybody was talking about Shreyas Iyer's century. Anyway, New Zealand had the barest of chances today to beat India, but obviously that didn't happen. They met each other. Now this is the second time, and both these matches actually looked like tough matches. That the opponents seemed like worthy opponents. I was expecting something similar from South Africa, but we all know that massacre, right? So but this is it, right? Like unfortunately New Zealand would have to bid farewell to a lot of great stars, and they go out without winning an ODI World Cup. You have to feel for Kane, Daryl Mitchell, what a fantastic batsman. Trent Bolt, Saudi, his partner, Santno, and the rest of the gang. I don't know. I think this quality bunch combination has been together for a while. They tried really hard, but I don't think we'll see them again, and that's the sad part. But anyway, let's get into these top 10 from the best match that we witnessed so far, which was also a playoff. And it's just, yeah, let's just get into it. Number 10, everyone seems to be at one kiddick. I don't get this. It feels like everyone was at one kiddick. You see Pandya drinking coconut water with John Abraham, some Bollywood celebrities, and the Ambanis. Yuzi Chahal was chilling. We spotted the real Tala Rajnikant in the middle of the match. I didn't even know he arrived, and no wonder India won, right? Like this guy was right there. And then Sachin Tendulkar was there. Like it feels like we've seen a lot of Sachin during this tournament. Like he attended every one kidday match. It's good, not complaining. It's good. Love to see Sachin. And there was that statue unveiling too, right, of Steve Smith, and he was around, and everyone gets a view of Sachin. So it's good that he keeps coming back. What was David Beckham doing here? Like, I think it's because of UNICEF, but what the hell? Like, it's just the most random celeb appearance in a cricketing World Cup. First I thought, did he ever play cricket or did he ever watch cricket? But then I mean, you kind of realize like he's from England, of course. Like, cricket is talked about in England. I know football is a lot, it's famous for sure, but cricket is talked about in England at least. So, but yeah, what was he doing there? Nine. What the hell was that whole pitch nonsense? How come this controversy just cropped up on the day of the match in that very morning, right? And somehow, by the way, it was not the English journalist, it was not the Australian journalist. This actually came from Indian journalists, right? It's not a foreign media attack like everybody keeps saying. Just shut up about that. And basically, let's see. I saw some quotes, I think from Saint Cricket. It felt like a tournament in India for India and for India India to win. Cannot completely disagree with that statement. Basically, what happened was um the curators, or the team like BCCI or the Indian team, asked the pitch curators of Wankhede to like shave off the grass from the pitch, and that became huge news. I don't know if it's right or wrong, so I'm not going to get into that. I'm just telling you what happened. And apparently BCCI's local curators look after the pitches, for all the World Cup venues, but there is an ICC pitch consultant that comes, examines, and approves, right? So they talked a lot about, an agreed pitch. This is for the final. They talked a lot about this, what pitch they would play. As you'd see multiple pitches on the ground, right? Like, so they agreed upon, let's say, pitch X, right? Or pitch number, yeah, pitch X. But then BCCI and the team or whoever makes this call just decided, no, we're not going to follow X. Let's just use Y. Why? As in, why do they do this? Like, BCCI does not have to do this bullshit because the team is winning. They're on such a good streak. Like, can you just not leave 1 or 2 weeks without any controversy? It started with tickets, went on for like this poor treatment at the stadiums, and then now this. Like, come on, guys, like, just get your shit together. Like, as much as I have my complaints with BCCI, doctoring a pitch is just plain stupid. Like, come on, that's just, it's not gonna happen. This pitch wasn't doctored and it didn't even impact the match. Like the way Shami was bowling, he could have bowled on a cement pitch. Like the ones we practice at cricket academies locally, he would have still gotten those wickets, I feel. But I didn't hear the players moan. I didn't hear the coaches complain. And both these teams got to look at the pitch before the match. So they can make decisions based on what they saw. Number 8. Oh, they steamrolled every team, winning 9 out of 9 matches and now 10. It was hilarious to listen to, all these articles. I get it. There may be some truth about BCC as an organization, but the way they were putting across the point was as if they were trying to do all of this to make India win. India is going to win. They're going to win the World Cup. I think it's set in stone, right? Like, this, look at that team. It's no way they're going to lose it, right? And now how are we going to believe that a team that performed so well is going to doctor a pitch? And plus, this was a high scoring match, right? So I don't know what people are complaining about. It's just plain stupid. And some of them are, I'm sure, jealous that they don't have that attention and the power, the which the white man generally possesses. Now it's the new Asian century, as the great cricketers call it. And it is the Asian century. Look at the stars coming out of India and IPL. So India seemed a little rattled. India wasn't tested till now. Rohit Sharma wasn't tested till now. And in fact, they finished a few games so early that the audience went home, had their dinner, and went to bed early that night. They were now, like, I think the Indian audience is now spoiled by what they did to South Africa and Sri Lanka. Now they expect 4 wickets to be down by the first 10 overs. Anyway, but today there was a little tension. There were jitters during the Mitchell Williamson partnership. You could see some misfields. There were some long faces. There were some misfields here and there. I think Siraj dropped a catch. Or was that last match? Last match, sorry. Shami dropped a catch. I know this because, as usual, there was trolling on his Instagram, calling him all sorts of words. Let's not go there. So there was the funniest moment, which was Jadeja's overthrow. Had to see that. Like, he was embarrassed. He buried his face. But so we know India can be rattled. Like, it just takes, some moments to push them back a little bit, right? And at one point, I knew that everybody was going crazy on Twitter and on subs, but I knew that all they had to do was bring back Shami, because Shami, with any ball, new ball, or he's not even bowling with a new ball, with any aged ball, could take wickets, and that's exactly what happened. But I also remember Daryl Mitchell was giving a tough time to Bumrah and Shami as well. He was hitting them for straight sixes. I was just like, it was a treat to watch. And their faces after that, still like, oh, that's how the other teams felt when our boys hit sixes. Yes, yes, Shami. Just observe Rohit Sharma when things don't go his way. Not during this World Cup. This World Cup, he's been very different. I see a different captain from what I've seen in the past. In the past, you'd see like completely disturbed and you're like, yaar, kya kar raha hai, yaar? Like that kind of expressions. But this time, I think Rohit Sharma was like a stoic version of himself, very calm. I don't know if it's stoic or if he's calm or if he's just tired. But that's Rohit Sharma. But I wouldn't blame him. It was hot everywhere they went. But he did what he was supposed to do tactically, and I think he was such a great captain. I wish he gets the credit that he deserves. Honestly, before the World Cup started, I didn't feel that, like, Rohit Sharma would be the one winning us the World Cup, be honest. But because I love him as a batsman, I love him as a captain too. But I don't know, I don't see any hunger in him, when it comes to captaincy. But then I realized that's his personality. He's cool, he's calm, he's chill, he's collected, and that's how he gets work done. I completely subscribe to this kind of leadership any day compared to, a strict headmaster. But it's a good thing. I think it gives India an opportunity that they were rattled today, that they can fill those gaps for the finals. But I was also thinking, like, after the first innings, I mean, it's 399. You're not going to win this match no matter what part. Come on. The rattling didn't last too long. They won the game after that main partnership. Easy peasy. Number seven, let's look at New Zealand's journey so far. They have had an odd streak of wins and losses. The captain was absent, and Latham did like a fantastic job in his absence. It didn't even feel like a captain, an experienced captain was missing. He made the same calls, I think, what Kane would have made or close. I mean, Kane was in the dugout, so I'm sure there was a lot of discussion before, most of these decisions. They started with a top win against England, followed by three more like very easy ones. They lost against India, understandable, twice, and they lost to Australia, but they were chasing like 388. They got close, but they couldn't win that match. Plus, I also feel that New Zealand has like a bit of a mind block against Australia, just like Pakistan does with India. They lost against New Zealand lost against South Africa. Again, the total was too high to chase. South Africa came, bam, 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 thanks to QDK, and everything went south from there. This was a bad defeat. I think they lost by a big margin here. They lost to Pakistan, I think, was a tragedy. Come on, man. Like, rain shouldn't decide wins and losses. I still feel like they should have had a better system there. I get it. They were ahead in run rate. All of that is understood. But come on, at some point, like if they had continued playing, I feel that if they had just gotten that one wicket, I think Abdullah Shafiq or Babar Azam, one of the two, they could have won that match easily. They've done pretty well, and it's going to be a hard exit for them this World Cup. Very sad because I don't think we'll be seeing these dark horses again. And that too, like such a deadly combination. They've been slowing. I think that combination is slowly being chipped away. I think from Ross Taylor, I guess, from Ross Taylor, Brendan McCullum, and like you gotta feel sorry for them. Kane Williamson has to be given the respect that he deserves. The entire Wankhede was fawning over stars, on a day like yesterday. And one of the most underrated leaders or people should be like Kane Williamson, as in, what a fantastic captain. Just watch his post-match present, right? Like you have to give him props on the way he leads, like his style of leadership and his just optimism. Even I think it's thinking of most leaders coming out of New Zealand, because the other person I could think of was their former prime minister, Jacinda Ardern. Pretty cool, calm, collective, very empathetic, and that's what I see with Kane. Like I don't know how uh, Kane Williamson keeps a smiling face after such a heavy defeat, and he was like, well, you know, India played their game, they were at their best. Virat Kohli is awesome. Gave everybody a compliment, and just said they're unstoppable, aren't they? And that's it. His latest injury was an undisplaced fracture on his left thumb. That sounds painful. To do like anything, forget anything on the field, like anything at home. I wouldn't do that, but I hope we see him get better, like completely fit, and come back for another World Cup. What he had to appreciate was he saved himself for the World Cup. Saved himself. Like, he just preserved his body. He trained, he gave himself that time, saying that I'm going to focus on one thing, that's the World Cup. I'm not going to play any of these bilaterals, no test, nothing, just the World Cup. He did that. He came fully fit. I think he didn't play the first match, if I'm not wrong. Another injury. Like, what the hell? Like, it was very sad to even just hear like, okay, Kane Williamson, another injury. Again, it's on-field injuries. These are not things that happened, outside of the field. It was on field injuries. That's the tragic part. So goodbye, Kane Williamson, Canos, Kane Mama, and hope to see you soon in another World Cup lifting a trophy, hopefully. Number five, Shreyas Iyer. It felt like a wrong day to score because this was just totally overshadowed. I'm sure he's getting the credit that he deserves in among the team members because everybody knows what a valuable inning this guy played. But he hit the most sixes in a World Cup innings by an Indian. Shreyas Iyer's 8 sixes in his century against New Zealand, and is now the record for the most sixes hit by an Indian in a World Cup innings. Virat Kohli was breaking records on one side, Shami on the other side, looking like an absolute beast. And this guy just hit two consecutive centuries. Two consecutive centuries. And the other three people, I was just looking up the list. The other three people who got consecutive hundreds were Rahul Dravid in 1999, Rohit Sharma in 2019, and now he was attacking from the beginning. That's what I loved about this guy. Like, I think just two, three balls. There was one maiden from Santner. I think that was strategic. They discussed this. They're like, let this guy just bowl out, but I will continue hitting after this. And that's exactly what he did. And anybody who was in the stadium might have just enjoyed it to the core. Like, this was just unbelievable. And very sadly, like, Shubman Gill was injured. That's when he came in, and he hit like 80 from 66 balls as an injured person. I bet if he would have stayed like maybe 3-4 overs, he would have easily hit 100 too. We would have had three Centurions, so two more people would have gotten overshadowed. But that's it. So number four, you have Daryl Mitchell. Daryl Mitchell. Daryl Mitchell took the fight to the entire Indian team, frustrated them to the core, uh, and he did it for the second time. He is the only guy who scored like two centuries in this World Cup against India. Daryl Mitchell now has five ODI hundreds in 2023. It's an equal record with Shubman Gill and only behind Virat Kohli six. Virat Kohli is at one point, when Daryl Mitchell and Kane Williamson were batting, Daryl Mitchell was hitting Shami, Bumrah, Kuldeep, you name it, and this guy was hitting them all across the park. At one point, you could see Ashwin was coming from the dugout, chatting with Kuldeep, maybe strategizing with him to see what they can do. And it's supposed to be like a spinning wicket because, pitch controversies. But yet, Daryl Mitchell just gave every spinner a nightmare. And he deserves all the credit. That was a fantastic knock, one of the best knocks in this World Cup, in a crisis situation for a team. That too against Indian bowlers. Like, this bowling attack is unstoppable, and Daryl Mitchell played like it was normal day. But anyway, he deserves all the credit. There were people were not comfortable tossing it to him, slowing it down because he knew what he was doing. It's That's about it. It's number four for me. Number three has to be the captain, Rohit Sharma. What a transformation. Everything that I said before, plus this guy is also raking up records. I think strategically he's become such a great captain. Uh, we already know that like his win percentage is high. And at the same time, I'm seeing like a different side of Rohit Sharma in this contest, in this tournament. You generally see him agitated when something goes wrong, but in this case, I think he looked extremely calm and collected. Right? As a batsman, this guy is firing from all sides. We know that. Most sixes in the World Cup history. Rohit Sharma, with his four sixes in the semi-final, reached a total of 51 sixes, surpassing the legendary Chris Gayle. Most sixes in a World Cup edition. Rohit's 28 sixes in the 2023 World Cup set a new benchmark for the most sixes in a single cup edition. Highest team total in the ICC World Cup knockouts. India has 397 for four. That too against New Zealand. Number two, Virat Kohli. The man is a demigod. Like, he's breaking records since last year, I guess. And got 50 centuries, man. 50 centuries in one day international. That's bonkers. His gesture towards towards the guy who he beat was absolutely wholesome. Like he goes to Sachin, he bows down, gives his wife a kiss, and then it was just wholesome to watch. Like, and that's what I like about Virat Kohli. He's just not ashamed to be a little vulnerable and emotional, right? And yeah, I love Sachin like any other citizen of this country. Otherwise, you're not an Indian. But I saw his tweet after this century, or maybe after he exited the stadium. Uh, didn't you think that he made it about himself? I may be banned for this, or I will be hounded for this, but I'm gonna say it. Look at his tweet. The first time I met you in the Indian dressing room, you were pranked by other teammates into touching my feet. I couldn't stop laughing that day, but soon you touched my heart with all the passion and skill. I'm so happy that a young boy has grown into a Virat player. I couldn't be happier that an Indian broke my record, and to do so in the biggest stage in the World Cup semi-final at my home ground is the icing on the cake. I won't say more. It is just a funny tweet. I know I will be banned. I just started doing this, so I don't want to be banned. But you know what I mean. It's just in jest, like just joking about it. But anyway, such a fantastic player. I mean, the man is a statue at 1K. Come on, you have to bow to him, right? Virat Kohli is a perfect example for a GOAT player because never hides the soft side. Like, he was thanking his wife, he was thanking his mentor and his leader, Sachin. And like, I think at some point he was saying that this is calling it an ideal moment, like where his family is present, where his hero is present, and it's in 1K day on the same date that Sachin retired, and got pretty emotional. But yeah, absolutely, completely great. So now about all the records this man shattered: 50 ODI tons. We've already discussed this. Then so 43 out of these 50 hundreds have come in Indian wins. That means whenever Virat Kohli, scored a century, he had the team had 86% success rate. And what's the most shocking part, so 43 out of 50 hundreds, have come when India actually won that match, right? So there's 86% success rate, every time Virat Kohli scored a century, or, these 50 centuries. The most shocking part was, out of the seven losses, 43 out of 50, there were seven losses. Only four of those losses were run chases. So, chase master, really. He just made 711 runs in the 2023 World Cup, again beating Sachin Tendulkar's 673 runs set in 2003 edition of the World Cup, marking him as the highest run scorer in a single World Cup. He got 850s, the most by any batter in a single edition of the One Day International World Cup. Tendulkar in 2003, Shakib in 2019 had 750 plus scores, right? But that's Virat Kohli for you guys. Like, this guy is a legend. Like, I'm sure maybe in a year or 2 years, he's going to clock those 100 centuries easily. Finally, number one. Who could beat Virat Kohli apart from our very own Lala? And he has to be number one on everyone's list. Hell, he was even number one on the Prime Minister's list. I don't know if he congratulated Virat Kohli, but I did see a tweet where he congratulated Mohammad Shami, truly the man of the match. Maybe they gave him that award after looking at the Prime Minister's tweet. Why not? And he single handedly broke New Zealand's side when every other bowler was struggling. What? Like, it's fine. Just give it to me. I don't even need the new ball. Just give it to me anytime and I'll deliver. And that's exactly what he did. Right? 7 for 57, Shami becomes the first Indian to take a 7 wicket haul in ODI cricket. Stuart Binney held that Indian record for the best ODI figures with 6 for 4 against Bangladesh in 2014. I'm actually surprised. Like, I think in Test, Anil Kumble got 10. I'm actually surprised nobody got like 7 or 8 wickets for India. But I'm also very happy that Shami is the one who got it. He always got overshadowed by Bumrah. I've said this a million times. I think I'm not saying Bumrah is bad. It's just like how the news cycle works or how the PR thing, all these things work. But so Shami also got 5 wicket hauls in this world. The guy even missed the first 2 or 3 games, right? Like 3 games. The most by any bowler, I think surpassing Stark's three. And yeah, that's like, how did this guy, how was this guy on bench? I just don't get it, man. Just BCCI and team selection is so funny sometimes. Anyway, 54 wickets for Shami in just 17 matches in ODI World Cups. He is the fastest bowler to reach the milestone of 50 wickets in the ODI World Cup. The second best is Stark in 19 games. It's like actually very close. 2 games is very close. He could have probably, yeah, 2 games is very close. Anyway, most wickets in a single World Cup edition for India with a total of 23 wickets in this World Cup. Shami surpasses Zahir Khan's record of 21. Zach in 2011 was a different animal, but yes. After all of these wickets and records being shattered, it sucks that the conversation has to go to, but the pitch, right? The pitch, the ball changed. It's so stupid. How can this team not win the match and the World Cup? It'll take like a million things to go wrong on the day of the final. They're getting this. Like, it's coming home and it's staying here for the next 4 years. See you.